Hey everyone, happy 2021. I'm Vicki Howell and this is Ask Me Monday, and I am here from my home studio in Austin, Texas. Normally I would come to you from the Yarn Studios in Buda, but the heater's not working today, and it actually snowed yesterday in Austin, which is a New Year's miracle. It was lovely, but it's a little hard for me to teach knitting in mittens. So I'm here at home and I'm so happy to be here. It's our first one for the year and I have missed hanging out and starting my week creatively with you all. So if you're new to Ask Me Monday, welcome. Usually what we do is a tutorial of some form. Today we will be talking about single color brioche, so we'll come back to that. If you are here later and not live, and if you don't or you don't really care for all the chitter chatter, you can always just fast forward the video after we're live to when you just see my hands and not my face. So that is that. But this is a community-based live feed to begin with, and so I love to hear about where everyone's watching from. I see that we have Thea in Massachusetts, we've got Francine watching, Kim, and it's so nice to see you here as always. Michelle's watching in Arizona. We've got Joan in the Bay Area. Also, want to give a shout out to our regular sponsors, Knitters Pride, Knit Pro if you're out of North America. They have been wonderful. They're really great with supporting designers, and they employ close to 400 women in India, so good stuff. They're also the manufacturers for my own signature line of needles as well, my Aqua collection. So all good things. All right. What I would love is, I just want to know what people are making. I mean, I always ask the same question, but there is nothing that makes me happier than to feed off of each other creatively and sort of like give that little spark to inspire. Some of us get in lulls, and I know we've been going through this, difficult time as a world over the past, almost a year. And it's really easy to become completely unmotivated to be creative. Well, but ironically, that creativity is what can help you stay calm, find a little bit more mental well-being. From experience, I am not a therapist, but in my experience, making something, the process of putting something positive out into the world makes me feel like I have a little bit more control, but also just the method is very calming. So if we can kind of like join the disconnect of maybe tough times making us feel uninspired to using that inspiration to get us through those times, then we are doing the best possible thing that we can be doing as a creative community. So that's all I have to say about that. I would love to know what you're making. Like I said, I'm going to talk about sort of what I did over the weekend. Well, yesterday was a snow day, and so that was, like I said, I mean, it rarely happens here. So that kind of took the whole day to we just pretended we were in this winter wonderland. We pretended like we were able to travel. We were staying in a ski lodge, all of the things. But I spent a lot of time going through, I have a collection of vintage needlework magazines. I particularly like these ones from McCall's, the Needlework and Crafts magazine. And this one is from 1973, which happens to be the year I was born. Don't know why I thought I needed to tell you that. And so I sometimes, every once in a while, when I just, kind of need to find some zen or some inspirations, I just flip through them. But I was specifically looking for needlework. So I have become my I go through phases. I'm back in my phase of being interested in needlepoint, but not traditional needle, well, I shouldn't say traditional, not smaller needlepoint, not petite point, more like gross point. So that's using, either you could use plastic canvas or you can use a canvas like this, which is about 12 squares per inch, that or larger. I'm interested in that because I prefer to work with tapestry wool versus cotton thread. I mean, maybe that's because I'm a knitter and crocheter, I don't know, but I like to be able to work with the wool. So I wanted to find some inspirations. If you're interested, I did a whole bunch of Instagram stories and Facebook stories yesterday on some of the amazing pieces that our foremothers put together in this magazine, in several magazines, everything from wall hangings to this cool, like, chair support thing to rugs, all kinds of good stuff. So I looked through that, and one of the things that I thought might be applicable here that you might be interested in, even if you're not interested in canvas work, which I actually like that term better because there's not the maybe sort of gender stereotypes that unfortunately have been put into place for needlepoint. Canvas work, I found this, and this looks like it's crochet, right? But it's this needle work. And what's cool is this magazine has it at all different gauges. So the one to my, I can't get my pinky over there, that is probably the size to make a rug. But if you look at the very first one, it's more of a petite point. So maybe you would use one strand of a 3-strand tapestry wool. So really fun. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. If I was in the studio, I would point out what's usually over one of my shoulders, which is a really cool landscape, Bargella landscape that I did. It was just a chart courtesy of my friend Brett over at Hello Bargello. It just has really been inspiring me to learn how to paint with needlework. Actually, I watched Anna Maria Horner. I don't know if you don't know her, check her out. She's an amazing fabric designer and artist. And she also owns a craft store in Nashville, but I digress. Anyway, she has on Creative Bug like a 12-minute kind of overview on how you can create your own painted canvases. So that was fun too. All right, that was more of a tangent than usual, but I did also do some knitting. I'm working on some, we have, right now it's cold and we've got all of these, I've teamed up with Madeline Tosh to do our own signature colors, my own signature colors of their yarn Home. And Home is a big, scrunchy, ushy gushy, lovely superwash merino wool. And so I'm trying to come up with some more stuff that we can make out of it while it is still cold enough. And so I worked on this fun poncho it's going to be. And then I have a lapgan, which I haven't worked on, to be honest with you, because I got sidetracked by wanting to do this poncho. My yarn just abandoned ship. And so I'm working on those. We have some other really fun kits coming out as well this month. So you can always come over to my website, vickyhowell.com, click on the Yarnier shop at the top, and it will take you over. All right, so why don't we get started? So I want to talk to you about single color brioche. Single color brioche is a really sort of squishy, cozy stitch. It is surprisingly easy to create, and it's really cool for not only creating, that squishy fabric, but if you're working with a lighter weight fabric and you want a little bit more body, like a little bit more structure, it'll give you that within the fabric because it's almost like a double knit. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The inspiration for this tutorial is this month's Yarnier subscription box knit project, which is my brioche and buttons cowl. For you crocheters, this is the brambleberry and buttons cowl with guest designer, my friend Robin Chichula. So both of those patterns are in the January box, and I'll show you a little bit more about that at the end. But at my website, vickyhowell.com, I have written out a swatch practice for you. So you don't have to do this. I'll give you the skills that you need to learn brioche, and you can apply it however you want. This is a great stitch for scarves, for cowls, for blankets, for baby baby garments, all of the things. So check it out, sit back, relax, and we'll learn how. I am going to be using Knitter's Pride Mindful Collection needles today. A couple different, I think the set that I'm pulling from right now is really beautiful because it has, let me see if you can see this. It has all of these inspirational sayings, breathe, create, dream on the needles, so that it's just a reminder while you're working, just to take a minute for yourself. So I'm going to be working mostly with those, actually all with those. And so we will get started. All right, this is going to be fun. And when I say fun, probably messy. Because I'm not at the studio, I don't have all of the same equipment. And so I'm going to have to move some things around for a second to get us set up so that your camera, or so the camera can be facing downwards. So this is when I need you to just close your eyes. Close your eyes, and you're going to see my hideous, oh, maybe not. You just got an unfortunate close-up shot of my nose, so there's that. All right, you know what? That wasn't that bad. That was all right. I'll take it. All right, let me move in some light a little bit more. And I'm working with just some practice yarn right now. This is my this is one of my colors with Valley Yarns Superwash, but you can use whatever yarn that you want. A smooth yarn is really the best for this technique. And this over here, and just whatever corresponding needles. The yarn that is in that you're seeing here that I was wearing and showing, this is really fun. We did a collaboration. So there's an existing yarn by Skacel. It's Haiku Sueño, and they are just about to launch their tweed line within it. And they let us team up with them and actually launch a color of our own. It's called Yarnier before the rest of the line was even out. So it's this very limited edition. We're almost out already of this really lovely, fresh, happy color for 2021. So that's what the cowl's made of. But again, I'm not at my studio, so that's not what I'm using today. All right, so for this swatch tutorial, you're going to cast on 20 stitches. And again, I've written this down for you all at VickiHowell.com. And also, if you know anybody that is interested, that might be interested in trying to get you a good shot. Let me tell you, it's a challenge. If you know anybody who might be interested in learning how to work simple brioche stitch, single color, please let them know about this. If you share the video, it's really helpful. All right, so I've cast on the stitches. The cast on doesn't really matter. Some people like a really stretchy cast on. Which could be the cable cast on. I've just used my favorite one, which I call the single tail cast on. And you can find, I have a YouTube channel that has all of sort of the basics on it. And you can find that if you're interested in learning how to do that. But for the cowl project and also for this swatch, whatever cast on that you want is fine. All right, so the first row, so for this stitch, it really is only a 1-row repeat, believe it or not. However, there's a setup row before that row, and that's what I'm going to show you first. So we have all of our stitches cast on, and now for the setup row, we essentially need to double the stitches. We won't count them, and I'll explain that in a second why, but we need to have a setup so that we can create what are called brioche knit stitches later. So what we're going to do is we are going to begin with our yarn in front, and we are going to slip one, yarn over, knit one. And then we lather, rinse, repeat. So we're going to move that forward, slip one, knit one, slip one, yarn over, knit one. Now the way that it's written in the pattern where you see slip one, yarn over, and either knit one or the brioche knit, which we'll do next, I've always found confusing, but it's standard. So I've noted at VickiHowell.com that what it means, it is true that you were slipping one and then yarning over or creating your yarn over, but the yarn placement in the front is really the first part of the yarn over. So you've already started there, right? So all you're doing is lifting the yarn up to knit. So I just want to clarify that because I, for a long time, was doing that incorrectly. And I just didn't realize just because my brain wasn't wrapping around the sequence. So hopefully that will help you. Okay, so that is our setup row. We will never do that again, but it's done. And now we're ready. And you can see that we've got what is a fully loaded needle. And again, let's see, what is my little message on this? Oh, this is rejoice. Rejoice, we're done with the setup. Okay, so now we are going to begin our one row that is going to create the entirety of our brioche fabric. So we need to begin, this is really important, begin with that yarn in the front of the needle, slip one, yarn over, we're already there, and then we're going to do what's called a brioche knit. And what that is technically it's a knit two together, but it's not written that way because this little guy right here, see that, let me see if I can get it closer. So see this little, what was our yarn over before? Think of it as like a little like arm around the shoulder of a buddy, right? That doesn't count as a stitch. These two together, the little arm over the shoulder and the stitch count as one. So when you brioche knit, you're working those two together. So then we put our yarn in front, slip one. So you're going to slip what will look like the purl stitches. Although we're never purling, it's just magically going to happen. Brioche knit. So yarn forward, slip one, brioche knit, which is working those two together. Now, if you get stuck and you don't remember where you are, if you see just a lone stitch like this, you know that it is a slip one. So you know that you have to have your yarn in front, you need to slip, and then you're good to go. If you see this, you know, arm over the shoulder situation, you know that this is time for your brioche knit. This is written as BRK1. And again, at vickyhowell.com, I've broken that all down for you. So you're just going to do that all the way to the end. And that, my friends, is it. That is the entirety of single color brioche knit. You would just repeat this one row, every row, until your piece is as long as you want it. Isn't that so neat? I'm going to pull in another piece that has a few more rows done. And you can really see, you can see that it's a ribbing magically. You can see it's nice and scrunchy. You can see how much the fabric has bulged or bulked up and gotten extra squishy and cozy. It's really, really nice. So one thing I want to just give, which I want to give a nod to, is there's different ways that you can bind off later. For the cowl, I switch over to regular rib stitch, knit one, purl one, rib stitch, I believe. So this wouldn't apply to that. But for the swatch, what you might want to do is stay in stitch pattern while you're binding off so that there won't be any scrunching at the top of your swatch. So you would still yarn forward, slip one, knit or brioche knit. Actually, I would slip that one. I would not yarn over, but I would brioche knit together and then bind that stitch off. So let me say that again because I misspoke for a second. Slip one with yarn in back because we're not increasing at this point. Brioche knit. Now there are other ways to do this. This is just the sort of like the simplest form. Whoops, I automatically wanted to yarn forward. So you want to always work those stitches together as if they're one. I realize I stopped binding off because I got all happy with my situation. All right, so slip, brioche knit, slip one, bind off, brioche knit, bind off, slip, bind off, brioche knit, bind off. Okay. And then you can see it gives it sort of the same look, and you can tell, I mean, I only have a few rows knit here, but you can really tell that honestly, my cast on edge and my bind off edge are pretty consistent. So it's really easy just get in a little zone and just remember, you're cutting out the yarn over part, but the other stitches you're working exactly as they present themselves, either a slip stitch or a brioche knit stitch. And that is it. So once again, this is a really nice, cozy stitch. It kind of looks like fisherman's rib. You can see how textural. And then if you add in working with a tweed yarn like this, it's so dimensional, it's so beautiful, and it's really classic. All right, here's something I hadn't given thought to, how I'm going to get my phone back over to the ring light. So let's see if we can do this. I'm going to switch you around, and we're going to be really close for a second. And I'm going to say, oh, hi, there's my ceiling. And we did it. Amazing. You know what, 2021. Been a little bumpy already. You got to take those wins where you can get them. All right, so that is it for single color brioche knit. Again, go to vickyhowell.com. I've written out the swatch information, and I've also given you the link to the Mindful Creation Mindful Collection. There are several sets. There are so many. I've also, if you want to go over to the Ask Me Monday playlist, which is available on my website, on Facebook, on YouTube, you can see I did an entire unboxing of all of their stuff because it is a huge line. But I've also given you the information for the January Yarnier box. So just a quick recap. In this month's box, and it's a monthly subscription, you get the paper pattern, and it will include both the patterns for the buttons and brioche, not at all what it's called, the brambleberry and buttons cowl, and also the brioche and buttons cowl. This is a really great piece for transitioning into spring because this particular yarn is made with, it has a little bit of bamboo in it, and so it gives it a really nice drape for spring as well. So you can wear this over a sweater, but also a tank. You get a full hank of Not Yet Out Sueño Tweed by Haiku in our exclusive color. We only had a certain amount of this color Yarnier made. Once it's gone, and we are down. We're already down to the last, I don't even know, but it's getting close. All right, so you get that. You get the buttons. These are from Skacel. They're either leather or found horn buttons. It's a surprise. You get this amazing cuticle oil. This is by Black Dahlia Lacquer. It's a mother and daughter owned business. I get really dry cuticles and it snags my yarn and it drives me crazy. So there will be no snagged yarn on our watch. So that comes with it. And then to kick off a new year, yay, it's a new year, our tote bag. So all of that you can find, you can still, you know, just go to the Yarnier shop. Again, you can find that through my website, vickyhowell.com, or if you already know how to get there, you can get there yourself. You get all of that plus community stuff, plus you get a 5% discount on our shop and blah, 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 blah. So those are all the things. All right, new year, new skill. Let's brioche together, all right? Okay, I will see you back here on my Facebook page, which is just at Vicky Howell at 12 o'clock Central next Monday, courtesy of Knitter's Pride. Please take a moment this week, many moments if you can, to give yourself a little creativity love, sort of feed that well. We need you to be full. We need to be creative and put that positivity out into the world. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, and I will see you right here next week. Bye.